Buy now, pay later is in a mess. There's no doubt about that. You've only got to look at some of the news stories that are out at the moment to understand the situation. Entire buy now, pay later industry on the brink of collapse. This was at news.com.au a couple of days ago. Buy now, pay later on the brink. The entire market is collapsing. The 9 media news outlets published. You look at the share price for Zip and it's dropped from, pretty significant numbers down to 53 cents yesterday on the ASX. And then you look at Block Inc., their SQ2 listing on the ASX, and it is down at $93 from a very significant fall in recent times. So buy now, pay later is in trouble, but there's an opportunity for local small business retail. And that's what I want to talk about briefly today. My name is Mark Fletcher. I own Tower Systems. We're a POS software company in a range of specialty retail marketplaces. Not really here to try and sell you our software, because a lot of software does what I'm going to talk about, and that is LayBy. Yeah, traditional, old school LayBy going back, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. LayBy is something that really was fine-tuned by local small business retailers, toy shops, garden centres, clothing shops, homeware stores, where a customer would come in, they'd make a down payment, then they'd make a number of payments over the subsequent weeks or even months. And then when they made their final payment, they'd pick up the goods. Yeah, it created problems for local small business retailers because you've got to store the goods in a warehouse or a back room or something like that. And it meant you had to track the paperwork. And under consumer laws at the moment here in Australia, the challenge is that somebody right up until their last payment could have a change of mind, and you've got to return probably the bulk of what they've paid you in LayBy payments. So there are those certainly challenges. But the thing is, buy now, pay later has got a smell about it. A lot of the stories are about the fees that are being charged for people who are missing payments, the fact that people are having to borrow to pay off their buy now, pay later arrangements. And buy now, pay later was presented as a way that we in retail could win new customers. And we certainly did. You put the sticker on the front window, people would come in and say, oh, can I pay with this? And you say, yes, you take the money. Yes, it costs you 5 or 6%, but you get paid the next day. And so that's appealing. So I get the buy now, pay later appeal. The problem is there's so much noise around this, what they call fintech space, which is largely unregulated as a commercial activity. And there's so much noise around it that the regulators are kind of circling, the politicians are circling, and I think buy now, pay later is in for a challenging time. Also, you've got big players, you've got Apple, you've got the banks and various other major players from the more regulated financial space coming in and offering similar buy now, pay later solutions. So that makes buy now, pay later less appealing to consumers because of the regulation that's going to be there, and it makes it less appealing to us as retailers. So what's the alternative? The alternative, I think, is a well-run, well-managed, and really considered LayBy solution in many different retail businesses. Certainly using our POS software, as I'm sure you can find with many other POS software products out there. Setting up LayBy literally takes a couple of minutes. You set up your own rules. You can do that based on the rules that are offered through various outlets such as the ACCC. Look at what their suggested LayBy rules are, set those up in the software, and literally you're good to go. Customer comes in, they pick up the item, they say, oh, can I LayBy that? And you go into our software and you say, yep, I want to do that as a LayBy transaction. We create a LayBy docket that goes with the item when you store it in the warehouse or the back room or wherever you're storing it. And you have a separate one that you give to the customer. And then each time they come in and make a payment, they get a new docket showing how much they're paid and when they're due to make their final payment by. All of those terms and conditions you set up. My point here is, yes, there's a lot of noise about buy now, pay later. I think, without wanting to dance on their grave, and maybe that's a bit premature, but I think there's an opportunity for local small business retail to offer a well-considered, well-structured, and well-managed LayBy solution. And that's where good point of sale software can help. I think we can sit and wait and see how the buy now, pay later bonfire goes off. And possibly some of us will do that with some glee and maybe toast marshmallows on the bonfire. But the reality is, smart local small business retailers today are offering LayBy within their business, and they're doing it in a considered way for very specific products that have an appropriate amount of margin, that don't have the risk of the customer changing their mind, making a decision change partway through the process that costs the business money. So my advice would be, if LayBy could work for you, have a look at it within the software that you're using today, see if it's going to be suitable for what you want to do with LayBy. I own and run 4 retail businesses as well as owning Tower Systems. And we do LayBy today in our businesses. We think that LayBy is a good customer service to offer. We don't charge a premium for it. And it's a way for us to win business. Through the work we do with Tower, we have toy shops, we have jewelers, we have garden centers, we have homewares businesses, we have clothing shops, all offering LayBy. LayBy is working really, really well in those situations. And so it's easy to do, and it's an opportunity. So if you're looking at the news that's out there at the moment about buy now, pay later, and are wondering kind of where it goes, I do suggest that you at least consider whether LayBy could be a solution within your business. LayBy is a way that we can win customers, and it's a way that we can provide a customer service without it costing customers interest or an arm and a leg. There are some risks, and it's important that you consider those for your type of business before you go into this space. Hopefully this is interesting. I do think that there is an opportunity right now. It's a moment in time. And I think it's an opportunity for all of us in small business retail to embrace, because LayBy really, even though it's a blast from the past, it's something that can really give us a differentiating factor today that I think customers will like. Thanks for watching.